I'll call you. Um, y'all, thank you for your patience with us. We've had a lot going on this morning, and I'm already standing, and I'll ask you to stand as we call this meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for the City of Natchez to order. And it's such a blessing to be here today. I do thank you for your patience. We have a group from Guinea, and we've had a meeting this morning that has taken a little time. And so thank you for being patient as we are about 10 minutes late. At this time, however, we will now begin our meeting as we always do with prayer. And we have with us this morning Jason Burnett, who is the children's minister at First Baptist Church of Natchez. And so, Brother Jason, would you please come lead us in prayer to then be followed by our pledge?
Let us pray together. God, we come before you now. Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather in prayer before you. Thank you for the men and women that are here diligently planning and working in our community, that your impact will be made throughout the city of Natchez and Adams County. Thank you for everything that you do in them and through them as they continue to plan. Give them wisdom and discernment as they take care of your people in Adams County. Thank you for everything you do in us and through us. In your precious son's name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Brother Jason. Thank you. Let us now join together in our pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll ask the clerk to administer the roll call.
Alderwoman Hall. Here. Alderman Frazier.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderwoman Irving.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all are present and accounted for.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you. We will, at this time, proceed to our welcoming of our visitors. And today we are, on this great occasion, we are dispensing with our normal 5-minute limit because we are going to have a presentation that will take a little longer than 5 minutes. I want to first of all ask if we could, Mr. Hinkle, to I had just sent you a photo. If you could put that up of an event last night, and I'm going to give a brief report. We want to thank Beverly Adams of Natchez. And at this point, we are going to invite Reverend McKay, who is visiting with the delegation. He is from Chicago, to act as an interpreter. And Reverend McKay, you can come to this microphone. All right. And I want to just say we don't have a lot of pictures. I didn't have a chance to take many because we were too busy visiting last night.
Nous n'avons pas beaucoup de photos parce qu'on était en train de s'amuser tellement bien hier soir.
But we are grateful to Beverly Adams, and I'm sure she has more pictures to share in due time.
Donc, nous remercions Beverly Adams et on est sûr qu'elle va partager beaucoup de photos avec nous.
But we were honored to greet this very important delegation from Guinea. Just yesterday, they arrived, and we had an elegant formal dinner at Concord Quarters.
On était honorés de recevoir cette délégation de la Guinée hier soir et on avait un dîner, une fête très bien at Concord Quarters. C'est Concord Quarters, c'est le nom du restaurant.
I was so pleased to be there. Alderman Frazier was there at the very beginning. Also, Alderwoman Irving was there for the duration. And also our Mayor Pro Tem, Sarah Carter Smith, was there. However, due to a delay, she was not able to meet the delegation in its entirety, but she was there for about an hour as we were waiting for the delegation to arrive. And yeah, we were taking some selfies.
Donc, on a pris beaucoup de selfies, hein, on voit, mais Alderman Fraser était là au début, Alderman Irving était aussi là pour dîner, mais Alderman Carter Smith, qui était là au début, n'était pas capable de rester là pendant toute la nuit, mais elle était là présente quand même pour représenter le conseil et accueillir la délégation.
I have a brief report to make while I'm at the microphone, and then I'll come forward to make a presentation. But I want to say it is an honor to have with us the Honorable Thea Francois Bruno, who is the Secretary General of the Republic of Guinea. And we would like the Honorable Secretary General to be recognized.
On veut reconnaître la présence de Monsieur le vice-ministre.
And we invite him to say a few words.
Elle est invitée à partager quelques mots avec notre conseil.
Bonjour, Monsieur le maire. C'est le conseiller.
Le conseiller.
Messieurs les conseillers, chers membres de la délégation, c'est un honneur pour moi de prendre la parole au nom de la délégation, mais également au nom du gouvernement de la République de Guinée.
It's an honor for me to take greetings to the mayor, the members of the council. It's an honor for me to take the floor and greet you on behalf not only of this delegation, but in the name of the government of Guinea.
Pour vous remercier pour l'accueil que nous avons bénéficié depuis hier.
We want to thank you for your welcome for us, your warm welcome for us that you've given us since we've arrived yesterday.
Nous sommes là pour vous témoigner notre satisfaction,
We're here to bear witness of our satisfaction,
mais également notre disponibilité
but also of our availability
pour enrichir notre histoire
to enrich in this history
et faire de cette histoire une opportunité pour développer davantage nos liens de collaboration, nos liens de fraternité,
and to make up this history, to take advantage of this linking between our peoples and our coming together.
Je sais que vous avez un calendrier très chargé.
I know that your schedule is very busy,
Il y aura l'opportunité de travailler sur des questions techniques,
and we look forward to working together on more technical questions.
mais je tenais au nom surtout du gouvernement qui a tenu à ce que j'accompagne cette délégation
And so I just want to say in the name of the government who has asked me to accompany this delegation
à témoigner ma satisfaction
to share with you our satisfaction
et réitérer notre disponibilité.
and to remind you of our ability to work together.
Je vous remercie.
I thank you so much.
Je vais bien.
There's another message.
Oh,
Alors, ça, c'est un tissu traditionnel de chez nous.
This is an attire, a traditional attire from our country.
C'est boubou, c'est pour Monsieur le maire.
This boo-boo, no, I'll take this one. Je prends ça. This boo-boo is for the mayor. Okay.
Absolutely beautiful. Oh my.
And so the instructions I'm giving, Mr. Mayor, is that in order for you to accept it, you must wear it.
We will do so. We will do so in just a minute.
Okay.
We will do so.
Dans un moment, on va porter ça.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. If we, there are some other gifts. There are other gifts.
Il y a également un bonnet pour Monsieur le maire.
There's a cap for the mayor,
Symbole de l'identité de notre pays.
and that's the symbol of our national identity.
Et actuellement, il y a une grande campagne de branding de la Guinée.
And so there's a big branding campaign so that more people understand that's a symbol of our national identity.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank
Donc,
you.
il y a le reste.
There we go.
And so there's some T-shirts and some stuff for the rest of the council. We won't take time to spread those out right now.
Oh, merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup. I also want to recognize Elder Barry, and his first name. You will have to pronounce it for me, Elder Barry. I don't want to mispronounce it.
For the first Elhard, it's a title. That means he's gone for that. That's Elhaj. So his name is Marie or Berry.
All right.
Je vais reconnaître Monsieur Barry, mais je ne veux pas mal prononcer son prénom. I don't want to mispronounce his first name. So that she just explained, it's El Haj.
All right.
Monsieur?
And so I would like to invite Elder Monsieur Barry to provide a few words because he is the one who has assisted the Secretary General in working with Ms. Adams to make this trip possible.
Monsieur Barry, vous êtes invité à partager quelques mots parce que c'était vous qui a assisté Madame Beverly en construisant cette délégation.
Alors, je voudrais me joindre aux premières paroles de notre chef de délégation
I want to join the first words shared to you by the head of our delegation
pour dire toute notre satisfaction pour l'accueil que nous avons
to
reçu.
tell you of our complete satisfaction of the welcome that we've received here today.
Je voudrais vous parler très rapidement de Timbo.
I want to talk to you very quickly about Timbu.
Timbo est le village où est né le prince Abdrahman.
Timbo is the village where Prince Abdurrahman was born.
Il a vécu là-bas
He lived
jusqu'à
there
26 ans.
until he was 26.
C'est à cet âge qu'il a été mis en esclavage. C'était en 1788.
And at this age, he was captured into slavery. In 1786. Thank you.
88.
1788.
Donc, Timbo, c'était la capitale du Fouta théocratique.
And Timbo was the capital of the theocratic government of Futa,
Qui a existé de 1725
which had existed since 1725. 1725, thank you,
jusqu'à 1896.
until 1886, thank you.
Et à cette date,
And at this date,
les Français sont venus combattre
the French came in
Gagné.
combat
et créer la colonisation.
and then forced the creation of the colony.
Qui était Abdrahman?
Who was Abdurrahman?
Abdrahman était le fils du second Almami du Fouta Djallon.
Abdurrahman was the son of the second Almami of the Futa Jalon.
Son papa s'appelait Almami Ibrahima Souri Maudo.
His father was called Almami
Ibrahima Souri Maudo.
Ibrahima
Souri
Suri
Maudo.
Maudo.
Maudo, ça veut dire le grand.
I
And
believe
Maudo,
we have a picture of the prince somewhere in the archives. It may take a minute,
Okay.
Mr. Hinkle.
Okay.
You may, I had sent you a message earlier, but I know we've been so busy. You may have to Google it. Prince Ibrahim, you'll find it. We're going to pull that image up.
Okay.
Back to you, Mr. Rivera.
OK. Donc, Almami Ibrahima Souri, le grand, était le père du prince Abdrahman.
this great man was the father of Prince Abdul.
Et là, il y a beaucoup qui se trompent.
And there are many who've gotten mistaken.
Son nom, c'est Abdrahman.
His name was Abdrahman.
On écrit Prince Abdrahman Ibn Souri.
On the way it's written is Prince Abdurrahman
Ibn
Ibn
Ibrahima Souri.
Ibrahim Suri.
Donc, les gens pensent toujours, parfois ils disent Ibrahima, parfois ils disent Abdrahman. C'est son père qui s'appelle Ibrahim, lui, il s'appelle Abdrahman.
So sometimes they write it Ibrahima. It's all getting confused with his father's name sometimes.
Et donc, Almami Ibrahima Souri Maudo a été le second Almami du Fouta théocratique.
And so his father was the second Almami, that's the title of the Futa Theocratique.
Almami Ibrahima Souri Maudo était le frère du premier Almami.
So he was the brother of the first Almami.
Le premier Almami qui a créé le Fouta théocratique.
And it was the first Almami who created this theocratique.
Le nom de celui-ci est Kalamoko Alpha Ibrahima Sambegu.
And his name was Kalimoka Alpha Ibrahima
Sambegu.
Samdegu.
Sambegu. À l'époque, le Fouta avait connu l'alternance.
And so at that time, Futa had known a political change of government, alternance.
Un descendant du premier Almami
one descendant of the first Almami,
Kalamoko Alpha Ibrahima Sambegu.
Kalamoka Alpha Ibrahima
Sambegu prenait le pouvoir un temps.
He took the power at one time.
Après, il donnait le pouvoir à un descendant de Almami Ibrahima Suri Maudo.
And then he gave the power to
Un descendant de Almami Ibrahima Suri Maudo.
a descendant of the name he just pronounced.
OK. Donc, vous voyez l'image qui apparaît là, c'est écrit Ismu Abdurrahman.
And so you see
Je me nomme Abdurrahman.
on this picture there, it's written
Ismu Abdurrahman.
Ibn Abdurrahman. So
Ism
I call
Abdurrahman.
myself
Je
Abdurrahman.
me nomme. OK.
Yes.
OK. Donc, son histoire est assez intéressante. Et d'abord, premièrement, il nous fait comprendre que la connaissance, l'éducation, c'est important pour tout homme.
And so this is a very interesting story, but it also tells us that education carries an important.
C'est très important pour tout individu.
Yeah, and education is very important for every individual.
Parce que c'est l'éducation qui a permis à Abdurrahman de maintenir son identité.
Because it was this education which helped this man maintain his identity,
Qui était très difficile pour les esclaves.
which was very difficult for the enslaved.
Et deuxièmement, c'est cette éducation qui lui a permis de chercher sa liberté.
And it was this education which has permitted him to go look for his liberty, his freedom.
Parce que c'est par une lettre qu'il a adressée au roi du Maroc,
It was because of a letter that he addressed to the king of Morocco,
qui a intervenu pour lui
who intervened on his behalf,
au président des États-Unis,
to the president of the United States.
et le président des États-Unis a payé sa liberté.
And then the president of the United States agreed with his freedom.
Et pour conclure, le président des États-Unis de l'époque, Adams, l'a reçu en 1828, le 15 mai 1828, à la Maison-Blanche.
And it was this same President Adam who afterwards received him in a visit at the White House in the year they just told you. Yeah.
OK, je vous remercie de votre
So
attention.
I want to
Merci.
thank you for your attention.
OK.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. And I want it said that Monsieur Barry is actually a descendant of the Prince, as are many who are present with us today. If you are a descendant of this wonderful man of history who did spend 40 years in captivity as a slave here in Natchez, I would like for you to please stand where you are.
Et je veux ajouter que M.
You
Barr
are
est
a
descendant de Prince et tous les autres qui sont descendants du Prince, levez-vous s'il vous plaît. Si vous êtes membre de la famille descendant de Prince, levez-vous s'il vous plaît. Voilà.
Vous savez, en Afrique, chez nous, c'est une seule femme.
Oui, je suis d'accord.
Non. Donc, tous, c'est la même famille.
Voilà. Okay, let me explain something. The chief is saying, in our concept, as an African concept, we would all be in the same family, even if we don't have the same last name. So the way I interpreted the question, it sounded as if everybody who's a Barry, please stand up. And then the chief said, no, we're all in the same family, so we'll all stand up. So yeah.
At this time, I have a presentation to make, and I will come forward to make it. And I will invite if any of the aldermen would like to come forward as I make this.
Je vais faire une présentation, je vais m'approcher et j'invite tous les autres membres du conseil de m'aider. Okay.
All right. And by the way, I'm saving the presentation that you give was so kind that I will, at the very end of this, I will put it on in honor and respect of not only your kindness,
Donc je vais porter après pour la gentillesse.
but also out of respect to the Prince, whom we are about to honor today, along with you, his family.
Après, on va porter ça pour honorer le prince et vous, pour parler de sa famille.
dire encore pour qu'on entende.
All right. I have today a celebratory proclamation.
Aujourd'hui, je tiens une proclamation célébratoire.
Delegates from Guinea to the United States, honoring the descendants and their ancestor, Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Sori.
For the interest of time, I'll translate it already.
Whereas the city of Natchez, Mississippi, is honored to welcome delegates of the family of Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Sori from Guinea, visiting our city from May 8th to May 12th, 2023, a visit to include dinner with the mayor and board of aldermen of Natchez, tours of Foster Fields and surrounding areas, and visits with Natchezians, both connected to and interested in the fascinating story of the African prince who once lived in Natchez, sadly as a slave. And whereas the opportunity for these delegates to connect with descendants of Prince Abdul Rahman during their visit to Natchez is truly historic, representing the first known opportunity for such a meeting. And whereas this visit has been inspired by and made possible by Natchezian Beverly Adams, the author and illustrator of the book, The Chronicles of Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Abien Sori, A Journey Through Slavery from Timbo to Natchez. After making a pilgrimage to Guinea in December 2022 to trace her family roots. Upon her arrival in Guinea, she learned that the elder Barry and other delegates of the prince's family were making plans to visit Natchez. And whereas the delegation from Guinea will continue a study of the history of the prince during his experience in America, tracing his footsteps from Natchez to the east coast of America, including Boston, ending with a visit to Washington, D.C. to see the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and to visit the White House before heading to Canada to visit family and return to Guinea. And whereas as leaders of a new Natchez, celebrating the many strides that have been made toward freedom and equality, not forgetting our past, but striving to progress toward a brighter future for all of our citizens. We wish to honor the family and descendants of this prominent African leader who was once enslaved here and has now become a permanent fixture of Natchez and American history. Therefore, let it be resolved by the mayor of Natchez and the city of Natchez Board of Aldermen that we welcome this distinguished delegation to our city. We commend them for making such a long journey to our city, and in their honor and in honor of their esteemed ancestor, we proclaim May 9th, 2023, Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Sori Day. Signed, and we would invite the delegation to come as we stand together for a photo of this presentation. And I would like to present it personally to our Honorable Secretary General from the Guinea, from the Republic of Guinea, and also I would like to ask Elder Barry to come, and then everyone else to gather in as we make this
On invite tous les membres de la délégation pour venir faire une photo, mais aussi le secrétaire général, M. Barry, pour recevoir la proclamation. Tout le monde.
Why don't we have y'all on this side over this? And we'll ask everyone who would like then to gather in, and we'll take another photo.
The elders, the view.
Make sure you can be seen.
I got yours. I got yours in my hand. Okay, 1 second. Let me get one more. Here we go. This is for everybody. Ready? Right here. Thank you. Perfect.
One more.
It's too close.
Je vais bien. And I have another statement I'll make when I get back to the microphone. And we may have a couple of our aldermen who might want to make a statement. For now, let me honor your country and your gift by putting it on. I have
I love the guards.
Oh, thank you. I have a very large.
Scott. I took the video. Hey, man, don't be no spy.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for everything. I'm so glad all this could come together.
My family is originally from Texas. So we
I do have a presentation, and I'm going to ask my assistant Nika to make it on my behalf. But, it's been such a pleasure. And you're a happy I'm asking my older person to be patient with you. I'll be there in just a minute. No, they're waiting on me.
Mayor, you look splendid.
Just carry on. And as once again,
No, I have.
Like,
all right. If I could, I have to return, Mr. Woodbury, I have to return to the meeting, but we have some commemorative Natchez pins that we'd like to give to you, and also my business card, because I did have them at our meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have,
Thank you.
on the
Thank
rest of your journey.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
And I'm now, we are returning to our meeting, but as we return to our meeting, I'm just going to say this is a very historic day for us, because after a very long history going back to I guess the late 1700s, this city has now officially honored a prince, and it's a very belated honor. And so we will, at this time, ask everyone to observe a moment of silence in respect for him and for his family and for his legacy. And I'll ask the interpreter to say just what we just said.
Il a des obligations, il doit partir, mais je voulais avant de partir qu'on fasse une minute de silence en honneur de celui qui nous a réunis ici.
So let us now observe that moment of silence, not only for the prince, but for so many, and let us stand as we do this. For so many, both named and unnamed Africans, who, without their service, Natchez would not exist as we know it today.
On va faire une minute de silence non seulement pour le prince, mais pour tous les Africains qui ont souffert ici et qui ont travaillé ici et qui ont fait de Natchez une ville.
Amen. Merci. Merci. I will invite Aldermen who would like to say a word or two to do so, and then we will return to our regular meeting.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Fraser.
I would like to say it is an honor and a pleasure to honor the prince who represented, who from his country came a long ways to America and the hardship that he endured. We appreciate the prince. We appreciate this delegate from coming here from Guinea. Also, being an African American, it makes me proud to see each and every one of you that something that was taken from your country and brought to this country is now being honored. It just goes to show you that we all can get along and that we can make a difference in the world due to all the stripes and stuff that we are going through now. And as I say, your ancestors should be proud of you, and you should be proud of your ancestors. So I would like to say, may God bless each and every one of you, and may the Prince legacy live forever.
All right. Well spoken.
C'est en reconnaissance de tout ce que le prince a souffert pour être là, en reconnaissance de tous les Africains qui sont venus et qui ont souffert pour lui, mais aussi en reconnaissance de ceux qui sont venus après quelques temps d'années, qui ont venu quand même notre délégation pour venir faire le lien entre le passé et le présent. Et aussi en reconnaissance du fait que lui-même, il est noir américain et il sait ce que ça veut dire que d'être noir américain. Donc c'est au nom de tout cela qu'il voudrait vous remercier d'être venu, remercier la délégation, remercier tout ce qui s'est passé aujourd'hui.
Merci.
Okay.
Merci.
Merci.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
I just want to say, I don't even want to repeat anything that Alderman Frazier said. He did such an excellent job with it. However, I do want to thank Mrs. Beverly Adams, who took the time to study the history, to learn of her descendants, and so many others need to do the same thing. I see so many local family members that are here, and that's just so important. Family is important. And also to come from the motherland, a land that I truly want to walk on one day. That's truly on my bucket list, to come to the motherland and visit your town or your city. But I just want to say thank you, and I hope God bless you with safe travels as you tour the city of Natchez and as you tour Washington, D.C. When you get to the African American Museum, you're going to see a wealth of knowledge and history there. So I'm hoping you look forward to that, and safe travels back to your destination.
Je voudrais rajouter à ce qui a été dit tout à l'heure des remerciements à Madame Beverly pour tout ce qu'elle a fait. Elle a fait beaucoup de travail en aval, en amont, pour pouvoir préparer ce qui se passe aujourd'hui. Donc à cause de tout ça, je voudrais la remercier en particulier. Et je voudrais aussi vous souhaiter un bon voyage retour. Et je vous souhaiterais, quand vous irez à Washington et ailleurs, que vous preniez toute l'histoire de l'Afrique, des Africains qui sont venus ici et qui ont souffert ici. Et moi-même, je voudrais un jour aller à Timbo, voir comment c'est. Et à cause de tout ça. Merci.
Thank you. Merci. At this time, I think we need to move on now with our agenda unless there's anything.
Donc,
Yes, Karen. Yes. Miss Karen,
It'll be
Princess
short.
Thompson.
To
the mic. And say your whole name, Karen. I think I got it right.
Yes. My whole name is Princess Karen Chapman. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the works of Terry Alford and Dr. Aldermen Gay that started this journey for us 20 years ago when he visited and did the research. I also would be remiss if I did not thank my cousin, Beverly Adams, who has put in the hard work here in Natchez. This has been a collaboration of all of these people that you see in this room that has come from far and wide. I carry the name Princess Karen Chapman. I ask others to do it as well, not because I'm being pretentious. When people ask me why am I called Princess, I tell the story of Prince Abdul Rahman. I give that respect that I've had since I was a child. I want to thank the mayor, who my family absolutely loves, and wanted to tell him, please go for governor. So I want to say, Mayor, we love you as a family, from all my family, and we love this board. Please keep doing what you do. God bless you all.
Je voudrais un mot très court. C'est essentiellement pour noter qu'avant ce travail, il y a 20 ans, beaucoup de personnes ont contribué. Il a donné le nom des collègues, je n'ai pas retenu le nom, mais c'est depuis 20 ans que ce travail se déroule et jusqu'à aujourd'hui. Donc, toutes ces personnes-là, je les remercie, en particulier les 3 qu'il a cités. Et je n'ai pas retenu le nom rapidement. Et au-delà de ça, je voudrais aussi remercier tous ceux qui ont contribué actuellement à ce que cet événement ait lieu. Et I think this is more or less what you said. The last one you said what? Yeah, this is why I asked you so that you repeat it. Et au-dessus de tout cela, on aurait souhaité vraiment que notre maire soit candidat pour être gouverneur du Mississippi. Parce que ce qu'il fait pour nous, c'est extraordinaire. Et nous sommes impressionnés très, très favorablement par son travail. On vous remercie beaucoup et on votera pour vous.
Merci. Merci. Thank you so much. And thank you, Princess Karen, for those kind words. Tell your family, though, I've got a lot of work still to do here.
Thank you.
Merci.
We like to hear that.
I want to also make a statement. And, you know, I just want to make this statement. This is a historic day. And in honor of that historic day, and in honor of so many of our citizens who are not only descendants or heirs to this prince, but also who are direct descendants of enslaved Africans. I want to just say that I am honored to wear this today, and I will wear it for the duration of this board meeting in honor of your visit and in honor of all in our city who share in this great legacy.
Je voudrais insister sur le fait que cette journée est une journée historique et je suis impressionné très favorablement du fait que ceux qui sont là, ce n'est pas seulement les descendants des esclaves, c'est aussi toutes les familles de Natchez qui sont venues aujourd'hui pour assister à cette rencontre. Et je suis honoré de porter la tenue que je porte actuellement en honneur à ceux qui ont souffert pour que cette ville soit ce qu'elle est. Donc à vous tous, je vous remercie.
Merci. Well, enjoy your time in Natchez. We now must move on with our meeting.
OK, ayez du plaisir. On va continuer.
Thank you all very much. You're
God bless.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Beverly.
So glad that you get this service experience.
Thank you for making it possible. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now recognize our clerk for approval of minutes.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes, requesting approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting held on April 11th, 2023. Of course, pending approval by the city attorney.
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made by Alderwoman Smith and seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Any discussion on the motions? We'll call for the question.
Call.
Any opposed to the call? In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next item, we don't have a public hearing today. We will move now to our department directors' reports. Mr. Johnston, you are recognized.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Y'all have a copy of my draft report from this past week. Silver Street Brick Wall Rehabilitation Project discussed at the last board meeting. The city is looking to apply for a Delta Regional Authority grant titled their Community Infrastructure Fund. The total estimated project budget for this public infrastructure project is $510,688. DRA requires a minimum 10% local match. Higher amounts of local cost share will be given priority consideration. A local match of X is considered, is suggested. You see the breakdowns of 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%. What is the pleasure of the board?
I need a motion.
So move the 25% as requested from Mr. Johnston.
All right, a motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall, suggesting then that the local match will be 25%. Do I have a second? We've had a lot of discussion about where these funds are available, and by the time this grant is awarded, I believe will be in the next budget year, and the funds will be available. But we do need a second in order to continue discussion.
Second.
Okay, Alderwoman Smith has seconded this, and I want to say this is actually some of the best money that we will spend, because that brick wall is very important to the safety of Silver Street as we make our way down the hill to maintain buses, to maintain all of the traffic. And also, we want to make sure we have the best application, because this is a very competitive grant. We're talking about a lot of public money, grant money, that will come to the city to make this project possible.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman.
Not only for the traffic, but also for lives. We don't want another
Oh, my goodness.
deluge of land going under that hill,
Very good point.
which is why former Mayor Butch Brown did the original rehabilitation project.
Very good point.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
I just want to ask, where did we identify the funds? Where were they coming from? Because we said we would have further discussion and that did not take place. So I'm just asking the clerk, I'm gonna direct this to her. Where would the
Sure.
funding be coming from?
Along with this project and some other ones that have come up in recent conversations, I actually did provide like 4 different funding
But we didn't
possibilities.
select.
So this would be y'all's prerogative as to which of those funding, sources you all wanted to tap into. But we do have money available in capital improvements. We do have city funds that will have been reimbursed before this moves forward from the North Natchez Drainage Project, which we had to pay expenses and are still awaiting the final reimbursement on that. So those funds would be available. We do have casino lease monies that are available, and there is still a small portion of ARPA that we may be able to rearrange. But that one would be a little more complicated because it would take some rearranging of some other obligations. But there is funding available that has been identified, and those numbers were provided. Y'all just need to decide where y'all want to pull it.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mr.
So
Mayor.
do we need a
Further
motion
discussion. A motion has been made. We
to
just,
decide which fund we would go from?
that, not at this time. We're only the motion is just to apply for the grant. Once the grant is awarded, we will then have to decide, because it could be some months before we get
It will be.
notification of a
Okay.
successful award.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you have a binding, something on your application, you're not bound by the grant until you're awarded and you get the grant agreement. So at that point, we have to make a decision.
Okay. Further discussion?
Yes, so
Yes, Alderman Fraser.
we're applying for a grant that's a year out or year 2 out, right? So
No, sir. The applications are on a rolling basis. So upon submission, it'll be reviewed, and then hopefully we could hear something in several months.
several
But
months.
still, you're going to have to design the project, and also probably undertake some type of environmental assessment as well before we're able to contract out the project.
So after we do this, we got to turn around and pay somebody to design the project. So that's another 6-7 months out,
Well,
correct?
I don't think it'll take that long, but I mean, yes, sir. I mean, that is, a standard procedure for these type of capital improvement projects. Whether it be an engineer or an architect, I mean, we have to have a scope of work so that a contractor can come in and do the work.
I'm like, Alderman, I'm trying to figure out where we're gonna get all these funds from, these money and stuff to pay for all this stuff. that we got going. We have a lot of projects going in the city of Natchez, and there's a lot of money, and I need to know exactly where all of this money gonna be coming from. Because I don't really think we got the funds to be doing a whole lot of these projects. So
Right.
can somebody address that? Like say, you say that we got this available. The clerk said, we got this available, this money available, but is it guaranteed money?
Alderman Frazier, it's money that we either already have in our account or that we are waiting on the reimbursement, which the reimbursement's been approved, but we have not received it yet because there is a process.
Exactly.
So
You said the magic word, waiting. We're waiting. We could be waiting up to a year and a half.
I think, and I'm not trying to speak for Ms. McKenzie by any means, but we have a pending reimbursement she's speaking of for North Natchez drainage. Because it was our last draw and the project was completed, that one historically takes longer. And I do, contact, the Corps on a periodic basis. There's been nothing to say that, anything holding it up. It's just normal review of the project. And we do already have monies already received as a reimbursement in that account as well, around about $125,000. And we're waiting for about the same amount as well. But I think Ms. McKenzie also mentioned other possible sources for this project, should the board want to proceed.
And the other sources that I mentioned are already on hand.
All right, further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman.
this is my, as I stated earlier, I'm concerned about where we're gonna get all this money from. Like I said, we got other projects, street projects and all this stuff we got to take care of. But, this, I just can't see it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Further discussion? Okay, the question has been called. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there anyone opposed to the call? We're following our procedure we established just a few months ago. We want to make sure there's no opposition to the call. If hearing none, then we will proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Aye. Are there any abstain? Only heard three
Can you do a
voices.
roll call,
We'll do a
please?
roll call. Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier.
Nay.
Alderwoman Smith.
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving.
I abstain.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next project.
Bulletproof Vest Program sponsored by the Department of Justice. Staff is requesting a motion to work with the Natchez Police Department on the preparation and submission of this application for the purchase of vests for police officers. The program provides up to 50% of the cost of a new vest.
Right. What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Frazier?
Mr. Johnson,
Yes, sir.
this request for best, do it say how many? I just like to know how many are they?
I have not spoken at length with the police chief, but it will probably be anywhere from 5 to 10.
He was here earlier.
But I have sent out a preliminary email. I think our last one from last year was between 10 and 20 vests. I think she does budget monies for equipment, and so this will really be a cost savings for her budget.
So is in her budget, correct?
Right, and so basically we'll be reimbursed. I mean, instead of paying 100% of the cost, you'll be paying about 50% of the cost, and will be reimbursed.
Further discussion?
Yes, sir. I just wanted
Yes,
to ask,
Alderwoman.
Mrs. Stover had brought to our attention, is this the same grant? And that's what I'm wanting to ask, because she did bring to us possible grants that had been,
To my knowledge, no, and she has been removed from the system.
how can she be removed without the board?
I thought the
terminating
board
her?
had terminated her
board did.
Who
contract.
did?
We
Who did?
we can't discuss that.
I'm
except in
sorry.
Executive
My
session.
bad.
Okay, well, that's something.
Okay.
My bad.
All right.
Right.
But-
Further discussion? We'll call for the question.
Call.
We'll now proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, Mr. Johnston.
Duncan Park Golf Pro Shop renovation phase 1 from the city's 2022 capital improvements bond issue. Staff is requesting a motion to advertise for general contractors for the renovation of the Duncan Park Pro Shop, subject to the review and approval of submitted plans to the Department of Archives and History.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
All of this is a part of the obligation bond or the general obligation bonds that we had, and I'm asking the question. Is that what this is a part of, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
Sure.
it's part of both bond issues. I failed to mention it's part of the 21
Okay.
recreation
Okay.
and 22 building.
Okay.
My mistake.
Okay, thank you.
All right, okay, the question has been called. And second, is there anyone opposed to the call? We will then proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. Next item.
2023 EPA Brownfields Annual Conference to be paid for with the city's Brownfield Coalition Assessment Grant. Staff is requesting a motion to attend the upcoming annual conference to be held in Detroit in August.
So moved.
Second.
Davis,
And this will be Mr. Johnston attending, and the motion has been made by Alderwoman Irving
Yes, sir.
and seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Call.
Is there anyone opposed to the call? In that case, we will proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
The next item was not in your report as presented last week. It came afterwards. Turtle Lane at Eastwood Road Drainage Improvement Project. Money from DEQ's Mississippi Municipality and County Water Infrastructure Grant. Staff is in receipt of the recently received subaward agreement for this drainage improvement project. Staff is requesting a motion to approve the subaward agreement and to allow the mayor to sign the award, subject to the review and approval of council, noting the language is the same as our previous two awards as well. And you'll see the project budget breakdown, total project budget X, DEQ funds awarded, 166,783. Applicant ARPA funds, 229,610. I do want to point out, and it may be on that version, it is, that we did request a dollar for dollar, but we did not receive a dollar for dollar. So you'll notice that though we did pledge $200,000, we're being asked to put up 229 and some change right now. And I did speak to Ms. McKenzie as well to make sure that if the board does choose to accept, that these monies are obligated.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving and seconded by Alderman Davis. A discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Alderwoman
I just
Irving.
want to say, we want to see drainage taken care of in every community. So that's not a problem with getting that done. I'm just glad we have the funding as well to get that done. That's what we want.
Very well said.
Mhm, 'cause
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Yes.
Further discussion? We'll call for the question.
Call.
Question's been called. Anyone opposed to the call? We'll then proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
And another item that wasn't brought up until yesterday, Auburn Antebellum Home. Staff is requesting a motion to seek quote bids to number, remove, and store the home's shutters due to their deteriorated condition, and at a later date look to repair, restore, and rehang, subject to this request being approved by the Mississippi Department of Archives and History.
So moved.
I want to make sure before we accept a motion, we do need to add one item, and that is that the shutters deemed to be in good condition be positioned on the front facade of the mansion, if at all possible.
I'll amend that motion. Mr. Chair.
Okay, and so the motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall and seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion?
Yes,
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
we are doing the shelters over, and I know from the last administration, I think, didn't we redid all those shelters once before, or we just doing?
We have done work
we
on
get
the
some
home, but not on the shutters, no, sir.
We just did the.
We've done some work on the home,
Okay,
The columns.
columns, among other things,
okay.
but not the shutters, no, sir.
And this actually is not a motion to repair the shutters at this time, but simply to avoid further damage, to number and remove them and store them for restoration at a later date. Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
I just wanted to ask Mr. Johnston, can we get a copy of this, please?
Copy of what?
Your report.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Actually, it's always available on the
Further-
presentation drive.
Further discussion? We'll call for the question. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
The motion to amend it, you know,
Well, actually, no, I said the motion before. I didn't accept her. I actually didn't accept her motion until we stated that additional part. And so I would like for the minutes just to reflect that motion, including repositioning those that we can reposition to the front facade, that is the motion that Alderwoman Hall made and that we are voting on. And according to the vote, the motion has carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to just commend Mr. Johnson. He is so hardworking. And while he presents a very detailed report to us in time for the package, that doesn't mean he doesn't stop working. And he revises that report right up until the last minute sometimes in order for us to get as much done. And you know, we just breezed through several things, but I want it noted, we are taking proactive steps to protect Silver Street, a very important street to our city. We are applying for a bulletproof vest program. We actually now are proceeding to advertise for bids for the restoration that will start this summer to renovate the golf clubhouse at Duncan Park. We also received a grant. We were successful in receiving another grant, and those state funds will go along with our funds to help with the Turtle Road drainage issue that has been an issue for many years. And then obviously making some progress with Auburn and get ready in our next meeting or in a meeting to come. We may have an update on the plans to restore the pavilion, the exterior of the billiard hall, and also the columns per a grant that was received last year through the Department of Archives and History. So we're just so grateful. And Mr. Johnson, thank you for your hard work. Ms. Cole, Ms. Sonora Cole, you're now recognized for your report.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Board.
Good afternoon.
Before I get into my request for bids for the baseball field renovation, I just wanted to give you guys some upcoming dates that we have coming up. On May 31st at 10 a.m., we will have the ribbon cutting for the North Natchez Youth Center at 10 a.m. On June 10th, we will have the Fishing with Fathers with Alderman Davis starting at 8 a.m. at the Natchez State Park. On June 17th, we have partnered with the American Youth Soccer Association to bring soccer to Natchez. We're going to have a play soccer day where they're going to come down from Illinois and Canada and host a citywide soccer day to show exactly what they do and how they incorporate the program. The program will be ran entirely by AYSO, as well as some of our community leaders that volunteer to coach. Everything is free training. They offer free training, free t-shirts, free jerseys, and we're working with them with Augusta to provide all the free equipment that's their partner that they're going to provide for us. So the only thing that kids would need is to basically pay the registration fee of $25. And the $25 will go from August all the way until June. Soccer leagues. Also on June 24th, we are hosting our Stop the Violence bike ride. Also, it's going to be an outreach event on the bluff. The bike ride is going to start on the bluff along with the outreach program for that day. It's going to be from 10 till 2 o'clock. And we are partnering with Rated E Entertainment, Hayward Foy, as well as Workforce Development on that project, Stop the Violence Bike Ride.
Thank you, Ms. Cole.
You are welcome.
I have a question. With the soccer, why would we not, and I'm just asking, why have we not tried to partner with Cathedral because they have a soccer team and ACCS has soccer? Will they be included in this? I mean, because they already have programs.
With Cathedral, with speaking with Cathedral, with anything that we do in regards to trying to get sports with the city, their message to me was, well, to us, was that they play their sports in-house. All of their kids play together. And so they have their own leagues. They do their own thing. They would participate in baseball, as I know they participate up in Vidalia. But another thing is funding. AYSO is paying for everything. We don't have any equipment. They have all the equipment. They're going to basically come roll out the red carpet and run the program. All proceeds will still go to the city.
Okay, and then what is the cost?
It's
If
free. The only thing they're paying is
program
$25.
free
Yeah.
For us as a city?
Yes.
Oh, I'm just asking because I don't recall if I heard that or not. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they're providing everything. They're providing equipment. They're providing jerseys, the soccer balls. They're providing soccer goals if needed. They're gonna run all the training, certifications. Everything is completely free.
And it's sounds good, but I'm just saying, why did we not start there? Because I know Natchez High has soccer as well, and I just thought we'd be local before we branch out. That would be the thing.
Well, we want to make sure that it's the city soccer league, and it's going to be ran by the city. So they're welcome to come and join us, but we want to make sure that everybody's going to be a part of it and they feel welcome. So if Cathedral wants to join in, they can join in, just like ACCS. So we want to make sure that we're open and available for everybody.
Alderwoman Smith.
Mr. Mayor, let me just clarify, this is recreational sports, and those are school team sports.
Yeah.
So they're not even the same thing. If those players of school want to play on the recreational team and it's not during their season or it's conflicting, they can.
Yeah, we want to keep it open.
Recreation. These are for anybody in the city.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also taking place during the summer while most schools are out.
Yes.
And that's really a great thing. Ms. Cole, continue with your report.
Okay. Well, I wanted to just kind of refresh about the baseball fields. Initially, we decided to not go with the turf simply because, one, it was too expensive, and research has deemed that it has caused a lot of injuries with youth sports. So we did set out to go without turf. So we have started the renovations to all 3 fields. If you go to Duncan Park, you will see the work has started on all 3 fields. They started on Monday, May 1st. However, with the decision to not use turf, we were able to use some of that additional money to reach out to see if we can renovate the concession stands, the press box, as well as the fencing of the baseball fields. If you can look at your request for bids for baseball field and concession stand 1. We have a bid from Lee Scott Construction at $41,975, and then we have our second bid from Jackson Construction of $43,650.
So what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I move that Lee Scott's Construction be awarded the bid of $41,975. Also, with the in-kind painting of the press boxes with Natchez green.
All right. Thank you. Alderwoman Hall has made the motion, and it has been seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion? Yes.
And that was for field 1, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Will, and these monies are available within the bond funds
The recreation.
provided.
Yes.
We'll call for the question.
Call.
Question's been called. Anyone opposed to the call? We will then move to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next
Okay.
item.
Baseball field 2, concession stand, press box, and relocation of fencing. If you recall, we're going to make the second field a multi-purpose field. So we will be extending the fencing back just to make sure that it is suitable for, I think up to 12 years old, softball, soccer, youth football. If we need to use that field, the fence is going to be extended back, as well as the light poles are going to be uprooted and replaced behind the fence as it's relocated. Lee Scott's bid on the project is $74,900, and Jackson Construction is $86,050.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
I move Lee Scott Construction Inc. being awarded field number 2 in the amount of $74,900, again with in-kind painting of the press box with Natchez green.
All right. What is, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving?
Where's the in-kind service coming from again?
The paint.
I understand.
Yeah,
Who's painting? That's what I'm asking.
Mr. Scott.
Mr. Scott.
will paint.
Oh, okay. All right, in-kind service. That's what I'm.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll call for the question.
Oh,
Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. I did not hear that. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
And the third baseball field, it's going to be similar to the first baseball field's renovations. It's just going to be the concession stand and the press box. The fencing is fine. And Scott Construction came in at $71,900, and Jackson Construction came in at $76,600.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman
I
Hall.
move Lee Scott Construction Inc. be awarded baseball field number 3 in the amount of $71,900. And again, the painting of the press box, Natchez green.
So
All right. The motion actually was made by Alderwoman Hall, and Alderwoman Irving
second.
is on record for seconding it. We will have discussion. We'll call for the question. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Alderman Dillard would be excited.
I think he would.
He always said it's just not going to be possible to do that turf, spend it in some other ways.
Mhm.
And here we are, and it's going to be beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
I have a question for
And-
you. I just want to ask
Yes,
a question.
Alderwoman.
When will we begin our second phase of the parks, for the parks?
The initial first phase is paid out through the bond. So all of the bond is being used to renovate all of the things that you guys mentioned that was a part of it. So we would have to gain additional funding to do a second phase.
Okay, so that means the water at the parks are not gonna come until it is, and I'm asking.
Well, we left all the hookups there. So I'm thinking once we get back into our budget, what is it, October or September, then we can move ahead in our budget and purchase those water fountains.
Okay, so we did another summer without water at the park. Oh, okay. And
Well, unfortunately,
bathrooms-
COVID was not our fault.
Well, I understand that, but I just thought we would move right on into our second phase.
But we are
because
still in the
had-
first phase.
Okay, we hadn't finished.
Also, I just wanted to say that because we decided to not use the turf and do these renovations, and thank you guys for approving Mr. Scott to do the renovations, we are able to get additional things like batting cages for the fields, as well as some other needed items and equipment for baseball. So when we start, we will be fully stocked and looking really nice.
That's great news. That's
One other
great.
thing,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor.
Yes,
So we
Alderwoman.
didn't go with Coke at all. We didn't partner with them.
Yes, we are partnering. Coke is providing all three fields with the scoreboards and some additional items.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
All
just
right.
asking because I just wanted
It's
clarity on
a
that.
process.
Mr. Mayor.
It's a process. All right, yes.
I'd like to
Alderwoman
thank Ms.
Hall.
Cole for her report and also for the updates on the summer events.
Yes.
Thank you.
She has performed such an excellent service to the city.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ms. Cole.
All right.
Next item, Ms. Legault,
Mr. Mayor.
and I think it's a very simple motion we need. Yes, I will recognize the clerk.
Thank you. Yeah, she asked me to step in since she could not be here today. She is requesting permission to pay her professional association membership fees. $310 to the American Planning Association, it's for professional membership, $145 to the American Institute of Certified Planners membership, and $62 to the American Planning Association Mississippi chapter membership, for a total of $517. And this was included, actually came in less than what she included in her budget.
So moved.
All right, that was a tie. I'm gonna give that tie to Alderwoman Irving with a second to Alderwoman Smith. Discussion on the motion. We'll call for the question. All right.
Thank you.
We will now proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Rudder, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Board.
Good afternoon.
Did y'all all get the package that I put in your?
Yes.
Okay, all right. The package I put in your boxes is about purchasing the AEDs for the council chambers and city hall. These AEDs are top of the line, come with storage cabinets that mount on the wall and are monitored for when the batteries need changing. A stop the bleed kit is provided as well. CPR and the use of the AED classes are up to 10 people are included as well. The price is under $5,000, so we can go with this one if I can get a motion.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Motion made
Amen.
by Alderwoman Hall,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Irving. And I just have to say it, this was one of the last, this may have been the last conversation
That's right.
we had with Alderman Dillard. He saw the need. We actually had a discussion on this that last night. I'm so glad it's getting done. Thank you, Mr. Rudder, for your
Thank
work
you.
on
Thank you,
this.
Mr. Rudder.
Thank you. Discussion?
No, it's definitely a need. I mean, it's a lifesaver. Lifesaver.
And what I like about this is it comes with instruction
Yes.
and on how to use it.
Right.
So thank you. And in fact, I hope this can be a first step as we look at our budget over the next year. I'd love to see these in other public buildings.
I would too.
We need that to happen.
Right.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
I
Alderwoman
would
Hall.
also like for us to keep a record of where they are, because apparently there was some placed before, and I think it was recently found in the clerk's office, but there should have been two here, according to Benny Boone, and there's only one. So we need to make sure we log where these are placed.
These will be monitored. So
And they're monitored by the company as well. That's
and
correct.
when the batteries go down, they let us know. Because like the one that's in the clerk's office, if you needed it, the batteries probably aren't any good. So these they're gonna monitor them.
Monitoring
That's
is a big
correct.
deal. That's
Correct.
great. Very good point, Alderwoman.
you.
Alderwoman Irving?
Well, I was just gonna say, with the inventory and tag,
Yes, they need to be.
inventory and tag, because that way it'll be a part of City Hall's inventory.
Yes. Thank you so
You're
much. And that actually does beg a discussion. We need to catch up inventory here. We need,
Yes.
but we need the personnel to do it. We are so strapped.
Well,
but
maybe
it
this
is
summer, some
something
of the
we
older
got to
persons, if you
consider.
have some time, if that's the way the direction you would like to go, I volunteer to help get that done.
All right, thank you all.
I have no problem with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll now ask for the question.
Call.
Do we have any opposed to that call? We'll then move to the vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you so much. We'll now have our city officials' reports. Alderwoman Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I'll thank Ms. Cole for her hard work as Director of Public Parks and Recreation and her recent reports. And the fields are looking good at Duncan Park, the baseball fields. The workers have begun, as she said, and do please take a look. Also, our most recent disc golf tournament, Bluff City Open, was a great success. And one of the pros who played in that tournament, Chad Sherbert, is offering his services free this summer. A free clinic will be Saturday, June the 3rd at 10 a.m. A free clinic on how to play disc golf. So I do encourage the community to come out and learn how to play. I have already purchased my beginner's set, so I'm ready to play disc golf. He will have a ring of fire for some prizes, and he also wants to thank Nathan Farber for getting his flyer ready for this. I also like to thank Ryan Porter and Richard Burke for their hard work in that tournament as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Frazier, your report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. It's going to be very short. I will just like to simply say, we are going through we're going through something in Natchez, not only in Natchez, it's nationwide. And I just want the citizens to know that gun violence affects each and every one, regardless of who you are. It doesn't make any difference, race or whatever you want to be. Gun violence affects us. And we as a community, as a whole, we're going to have to get a hold on this, because this is a very, very stain on America. We have more mass shootings in America than we ever had, and innocent people are getting killed. And Natchez is not immune, or no other community immune. I would like to say to the citizens, if you see something that's wrong or something's going down, say something. Just don't say anything. If you know that someone got a gun, they got a mental problem, if you got kids at home, you need to check your kids and find out what's going on in the house. And like I say, we need to start as adults and parents monitoring our surroundings, monitoring our kids and everything. Like I say, our community is not immune. And I was just, this weekend, I was just stunned that something like this happened in Natchez. But as I said, we are not immune. But I want to say to the citizens, we as a community need to get a hold on our community. We as Americans need to get a hold on our country, because it seems as though America is not going forward. We are going backwards. So I urge each citizen in this community and throughout America, let's get together. This senseless killing is unnecessary. So I just want to say on that, Mr. Mayor. I have one other thing. Mr. Mayor, I have from the Natchez Waterworks, I have a letter here addressed to the Mayor and Board of Aldermen. This is for the reappointment of Mr. Kenny Jackson to the Water Board Commission. I would like a motion that we reappoint Mr. Kenny Jackson back to the Water Board Commission.
Second.
That motion's been made by Alderman Frazier and seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion on the motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I just asked
Alderwoman Hall.
Mr. Frazier if I could respond to his statement about the gun violence.
Oh,
and
certainly. Let us dispense with this motion, and then we'll come back to
okay.
it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, certainly. Any discussion on the reappointment of Kenneth Jackson to the board for Waterworks? We'll call for, I understand he's highly recommended for reappointment.
Yes, sir.
And we thank him for his service. I will call for the question.
Call.
We will then, is anyone opposed to the call? We will then proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Yes,
I would
Frazier.
like to yield some of my time back to Alderwoman Hall.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Mr. Frazier.
Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, sir. I concur with what Alderman Frazier just said about the gun violence. It's abhorrent. Just disrespect, total disrespect for life. And last year, I did reach out to our state legislators. I sent them, every last one of them, a letter asking for gun reform, not impeding anyone's Second Amendment right to bear arms, but to make some changes, and in particular, red flag laws. That didn't go anywhere last year. I have again reached out to some of our state legislators. It didn't go very far for various reasons, and I was informed of those reasons. But I've been told that in this coming year, there will be more discussions on that at the state level. So it is up to our state legislatures to assist us in making some laws.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Frazier.
Alderwoman Hall.
Mr.
Alderman
Mayor.
Frazier?
That's the end of my report.
Thank you,
May I
sir.
step out just a minute, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've just been doing a little bit of research on ordinances for safety and regulation of patrons, employees of restaurant, bars, and similar businesses, including event venues. And I feel like Oxford has a pretty good one. I think we need to just look into making sure we have the correct or appropriate codes to keep patrons safe in clubs, bars, restaurants, and events as well. Look into that.
Great. We would like to see a copy of that ordinance. And this is a good time. We are actually working on a revised noise ordinance. We have looked at various cities. We have that almost ready to go. This could also be a part of that discussion as well. So thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, could we just look into setting up that meeting? So we need to
Yes.
review that. We have some codes for properties too.
Certainly.
To look at.
Certainly.
Okay,
We'll
thank you.
get to work on that. Thank you. And now I'll go to Alderwoman Ernie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too, I just want to begin with offering my condolences to the family of those young men that were injured in a fatal shooting, and those that are recovering from that incident that had taken place this past Friday. I also want to acknowledge or speak on behalf. And my approach would be is that we as board members take a stand with bringing our community together. It takes all of us.
Mhm.
It takes all of us to, and along with community members, to have the conversation about gun violence and stop the violence. But I also know that we've had lots of conversation, and I think we just need to reach out further to our community, our faith-based community, hear our conversations that are being talked about within our communities too, about these incidents taking place over and over again. Because I want to say that took place in Dallas, there was approximately the 170th mass shooting that had taken place here in the United States. That's this year alone. And for us to have something of this magnitude that had taken place on last Friday, that's devastating. I want our members of our community to feel safe because safety is very important. I also want our visitors that come and visit the city of Natchez to feel safe as well. So I honestly feel that we need to have a holistic approach as to how we address this issue with gun violence in our community. Town hall meeting, so that we can hear from our members of our community. Again, it's going to take everyone. I do have a few ideas because I've done some research as well. I looked around at other cities to see who has high numbers in gun violence, and Philadelphia was one of them. And Mr. Mayor, they have a program that's called Fathership Foundation. I looked to see where was the closest one to us near Mississippi. So maybe we could possibly bring a representative in. We're not isolated. This is happening all over. So I just think we need to take that holistic approach and bring the community, faith-based community in, and all of us come together and see and have that discussion about safety in our city. Because our police department can't do it all. It takes everyone. And as Alderman Frazier just said, if you see something, say something. Report those issues that are not safe in our community with members of our community. I also would like to wish all mothers a happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is this weekend in our community. And there was one other thing. We are going into executive session, Mayor? Okay. Well, then that would end my report.
All right.
Thank
Alderwoman
you.
Irving, thank you.
Mhm.
Alderman Davis, you're recognized.
Okay. Ms. Irvin, I think the Workforce Development wrote a grant on for mentorship or something. They some
Fathership Foundation.
It's something else that's dealing with mentorship, and I think Miss Harden, she's involved in that, and they asked me to be a mentor for the program that they wrote that grant, and they trying to get other people to do it. You talk to Miss Harden about it too. Leaf Harden. She'll tell you more about that. But also, I want to thank everybody to come out June 10th. Miss Cole, she already put it out, but June 10th for the Fishing with Fathers. We started last year. We're gonna do it this year. Try to keep it going. We had approximately about 60 people there last year. We expect that number to double this year. We're gonna have free food. We're gonna have the bait and the crickets, everything you need to fish with. And they got bathrooms at the pavilion now that Natchez State Park can be from 8 to about 2 o'clock. And that's my report.
All right. Thank you. Alderman Davis.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I
Alderwoman
received
Hall.
a photo from Mr. Tipton that the new oven has been installed at the convention center, and Mr. Hinkle may pull it up
Great.
for us.
That's great.
So I wanted to mention that. There it is.
That's good. Oh, great, great. And speaking of progress, I attended the music festival event on Saturday evening, and the new staging was in place. They've now used it for actually 2 recent events, and it has made a tremendous difference. So, hey, slowly but surely, progress is happening. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to ask now just for a little point of privilege, if we could. As you know, I think most of you know today, I have to leave in order to make it for travel to Chattanooga to speak at the national conference and attend a national conference on economic development in brownfields. Because I have to leave by 1:30, we're going to go ahead and move to the mayor's report and our executive session. And then I'm going to ask the Mayor Pro Tem, Sarah Carter Smith, to take care of the city clerk's report and wrapping up the meeting at that point, if that's okay. And so under the mayor's report, it is very important. We have got to discuss our street list for our street overlay project. If everyone will recall, just a couple months ago, we had to reject a bid from APAC, being the only bid we received, because it was over $8 million. We have $5.5 million to spend on the actual contractor piece of this. And so that was way out of the ballpark, and we are having to rebid. We 2 weeks ago discussed a strategy where we will rebid it, and we will have an alternate where APAC, we will use them under our 6-month bid pricing for the material, but we will actually work with a contractor independently to do the milling and to actually put the product in place, and that will be an alternate bid. APAC may want to bid for the whole thing again. They can, but this will be a way of getting more competition. Well, in a meeting with our engineer yesterday, they have done all the math, and they said, even though we are doing this alternate, we still run the chance that the bid will come in excess of that 10% margin of what we have allowed. And we would have to reject the bid all over again. Therefore, it is necessary that we revise our street list. We would revise the street list to be the 45 streets that are highest in ranking of priority, with the other streets on the list we will have the provision that we may perform repairs to those streets also as funds are made available, but we don't want to include that overall list in the initial bid, or we run the risk of getting a bid again too high that we will have to reject. And then if we have to reject it, then we lose our window, because we have to get this done while weather's good this summer. And we're already up against some serious challenges, because APAC is now experiencing some delays. In addition, in a discussion with Albert White this morning with MDOT, these delays are actually causing a delay in completion of their project, as we know, on the 61 project going along Sergeant Prentice. They do hope to wrap it up soon. So we either have to bid this Friday, or we have to face the fact that we might be next year, doing this. I would like to go ahead and let's approve a revised list of 45, understanding the other streets. Not only could we perhaps end up with a competitive bid and we're able to do more than we think, we could add them, but we also, some of those streets are smaller projects, and we could look into our public works budget, and depending on how the budget works out later in the year, we could do those, or we could have a phase 2 next spring. There are various ways to look at it, but right now, for purposes of getting this bid done, we need to accept a revised street list. And so that revised street list has been provided to everyone via email yesterday. I've done my best. I think I've managed to speak to everyone personally, but we have got to settle on a revised street list today. Now, we did give every alderperson an opportunity, if you wanted to trade out some streets, you were able to do so. At this time, what I'd like to do is just entertain a motion to provide a revised street list, as we have described, the 45 that are ranked the highest. Get a second on that motion, and then if an alderperson wants to make a motion to amend it based on moving some streets around in his or her ward, we can entertain that as a motion to amend. Alderwoman Smith?
If we set the dollar amount, do we have to make a motion to amend, just change the order of the street out? Is it necessary?
Well, we do have to give in the bid package, we do have to provide a list of streets, and the list of streets is binding for what the bid will be. And that's why if it's binding at 75 streets, we run the risk of, again, getting bids too high, and we would have to reject them. I think it was ambitious to think we could do 75 streets. All along, I've been hopeful we could do 50, and it's still my hope that we'll be able to do about 50. But the engineers have advised us to start at 45, but include in the bid the language that we have the option of adding additional streets depending on final bid amounts.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
Before we get into a motion,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to request that I have it on my phone, but you got all the streets. I would like to request that I have a paper copy of those.
Certainly.
I can sit down and
do we have paper copies available today of the street list? Let's get those.
Yeah,
yes. They definitely require, as Alderwoman Hall said, she had to use her mother's magnifying glass. And in a meeting yesterday, I think I got Richard to hold it for me. I needed a selfie extender to read mine.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Since we're just having this before the motion, since there were actually 40 at the top and 40 at the bottom.
Yeah.
If each alderman can add one to make it 45. If that's what you're asking.
I think actually the list runs through 45. It had a separation.
It's a
but
separation.
What they are recommending is that we count in order of priority to number 45.
Oh,
Yes, so we would count a number priority to
Oh,
actually
to that to
number
number
45.
45. Oh, okay,
That's right.
got it.
Yes, and just ignore the line.
Oh,
that's
okay.
across there. Yes,
I have,
Alderman
I have
Fraser.
another discussion.
Yes, sir.
I've observed that, some of the streets, have already been paid. Who, is that the county? Or what?
county.
It's county.
It's county.
And
Cause what I'm saying is that
yes, sir.
I think what we need to do, I hadn't got in touch with my, the supervisor in my ward, is that, I don't even know what streets he gonna do. So I don't wanna,
They're completed.
Yeah, complete.
They're the last draw now.
Yep.
Well, I just want to thank them.
I'm so proud of
but
them.
I hadn't seen none in my ward, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Shit, I don't know what he did.
I will say this, we could, if we want to right now, line out any streets that the county has done. And that would allow us to go to 46 or 47, line out the street. But a simpler way to do it would be when it is bid and they come back and they find that that street's been paved, it should reduce the bid and then give us more money than to pave other streets. But we may want to just go ahead and just instruct that in the bid packet that we have a list of the 45 streets that have, in order of priority, but lining out any streets that have already been paved by the county. That may be the best thing we do. And we could have that in the form of a motion. Yes, Alderman Fraser.
While we have the county attorney who's sitting in here temporarily for our attorney, maybe he can get with his the supervisor over there and let us know which street they did in the city. Because I'm just being honest, I don't know what's going on. Me and my supervisor, I guess me and him don't communicate.
Yes, sir. I'll email Robbie and we'll send you the bill for it.
I'm getting the bill. I'm getting the bill now.
All right, we'll confirm that information, Alderman Fraser.
I'm getting the bill now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get these streets done.
Alderwoman Smith.
Just saying,
Yes.
since there might be a little tweaks on the streets, let's just go ahead and get the dollar amounts and with the names of the streets going with it. I mean, we can put the names on there. We don't have to say all the names right now.
Okay.
So we can get this
Please
passed.
don't.
All right, following the list.
Don't say no names because I'll be ringing all day.
Following the list of 45 in ranking of priority. So this is the
Yeah, I'll
motion, this is the motion then I would like to entertain. If I can just state this, I would like to entertain a motion to provide in our bid packet for the street overlay project, a revised street list of 45, to contain 45 streets in order of priority. But could we add with any streets already prepared by the county removed and other streets in ranking per priority added? In other words, we may take off 2, 3 that are in that 45 and then add 46, 47, 48. That will just be determined at the end when they prepare that list. But the basic motion is what it is. Prepare a revised list of 45 streets in order of priority with any streets already completed by the county removed and replaced by. Alderwoman Irving, I'm recognizing you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to just ask a question. How would this, because there's already a street list, how would that impact us?
Just take the first 45 if that's what.
No, I'm just talking about because there's a list. Remember, there's a list that we get. So I'm just asking, how would this impact us now with that list?
So kind of what you're talking about, for one, let me say that on this particular list that's in front of you, none of those streets the county did, the few that they did do are not part of that list at all.
Well, that's what I was looking at. None of
So
the
that
streets
shouldn't
that's
have you
not
bounds
on
on
here in
this.
my ward.
Second is we do have a street inventory index. And if you recall, when we originally put together this project, that a few of y'all or the board voted to have some influence in the list. So what we did is we took the top 75 streets, the way they were listed in our street index, and basically put out beside them the wards that each of those were in. Now, you as an alderman could take your streets in your particular ward and rearrange them in that same order, but it kept the same order that the streets were listed in. So it was kind of done where there was kind of a two-part. We used the street inventory index, and then you also had some influence in how that went. So I guess what the mayor's kind of saying now, that portion was already done initially when this project was developed.
Yeah, you're absolutely
You all
correct.
already selected those
That's
streets
right.
and did that work.
Yeah,
Right.
Mr. Mayor, that's correct.
All
You
right.
just used the top 45. That's
Right.
what you're asking.
That's
All
correct.
right, I'll entertain now a motion. I
Man,
think
before we
we've
make that motion,
already
before you make that motion,
summarized it. Yes, Alderman.
I need to ask him something. I'm looking at this top list, but some of my streets on here is on the borderline overlap with Alderwoman Irving.
Such as which
So,
one? Rickman Street?
yes, Rickman and
South
I want
Concord.
two more, yes, South Concord. So they all
And East
running down the
Jersey.
line.
But that's gonna come all the way down from Brenham Southport. It's gonna be the south portion of Brenham that's going to be done to
Right.
Kelly Avenue.
From minor to
To
Kelly.
mine,
from mine to Kelly.
yeah.
Correct.
So this is what we'll do. We'll hope the bid comes in. We can add more streets, but for now, to make sure that we follow the engineer's advice, I'll entertain a motion to revise the street list to include only for bid purposes 45 ranked in order of importance based on the list previously
So moved.
approved. That motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall.
Second.
And it has been seconded by Alderwoman Irving. And we did not include in that motion, do we need to include a provision where
Yes.
staff is permitted to remove a street and add a street in order of priority if it is determined it has already been repaired by the county?
Yes, you
I think we do. Alderwoman Hall, do you accept that as a friendly amendment
Yes,
to
sir.
your motion? And Alderwoman Irving, all right. So we had to make a little sausage here, but we do have now a motion, and hopefully we can pursue it. I will say this, I want the board to be advised that our current 6-month bid will expire at the end of September. And that means we will have another 6-month bid open with APAC on October 1st. We don't know what that bid on asphalt will be. Chances are it will go up. In this bid packet, we are actually giving a date of completion to the contractor, and we would like for that date of completion to be at the end of October 31st. That way, we only have 1 month that we may have to deal with some inflated prices with APAC, and we will just urge our contractor to get as much work done during the 3 months, July, August, September, as possible. However, delays at APAC are out of our control. They are the only business we have to rely upon for asphalt. So we're kind of stuck here. Do we want to have a longer completion date just to allow time in case we have delays in material and we don't have a contractor who is here with an October 31st date to complete, and then they're not able to complete because we have some shortages or some delays because of APAC. Albert White explained to me this morning that MDOT is currently dealing with some shortages and delays right now, causing further delays in their resurfacing project. He said it is hoped that 3-4 months you can get this done, but just in the event we couldn't, we might want to extend this period to, I would say, perhaps because of winter months, there's some days they can, there's some days they can't, perhaps extend it to the end of March or April. Just make it a more realistic window for completion. just want to throw that out for discussion before we vote on this.
Well, I have a question. My suggestion is, I would really want to ask Mr. Dollar to address that. Mr. Dollar, because you're the one who provided that information with us, as far as material and all, and seasons. I mean,
So it's kind of a two-part answer here. One is the way that we're all letting the project out to bid for two different ways. One is, of course, you want to try to finish the project as soon as possible because we are going to open ourselves up for new 6-month bids. What that's going to do, of course, is October 1, we're going to be faced with new 6-month bids, as well as April 1st. So that's twice during this project that you can see inflations, and basically you have no control over this at that time. Now, so of course you want to try to get it finished as soon as possible. I will say, I think the timeline to get it finished this year with all of what this project includes, I'm not going to say it can't be done, but I'm going to say it's very hard, especially being this late in the year, depending on what contractors have already got lined out throughout their year with their projects they have already set up. Especially a lot of asphalt companies will, line out for the year, especially on a lot of these larger projects. So you could see some of that where that we won't, that it's going to possibly be hard to finish this asphalt season. I think that's going to be tough. Not saying that it can't be done, but I do think that's going to be tough. But recall that about end of November, Thanksgiving is really going to more than likely shut you down. And then you're not going to be able to, normally that plant will do some winter maintenance, January, February. This year, I think they got kicked off right back in the first part of March.
I think it would be realistic to say we need to extend this to the end of April, and that gives 2 months at the end and some winter months where they might come in. I'm encouraged to feel like there is competition. There are some who want to. We've been reaching out just this morning trying to find contractors who will bid on this, and they only get paid when they're working, and they're motivated to get paid sooner than later. I don't see them putting this off purposely to next year, but we need to have that ability just in case we run into some issues with material. And so I would like to suggest that we amend the motion to allow the bid date, the completion date, to be set at April 30th of 2024.
I'll make that
Alderwoman Hall,
yeah.
would you accept that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
And Alderwoman Irving as a second? Okay. So that now revises the motion again. We're trying to get it right. Alderman Frazier, you're recognized.
So we're gonna carry this over into the year 2024, correct? That's what you want to say to?
Possibly. We need to have that ability, but hopefully not. But just in case we have delays.
Can I ask this? Can I ask this question? I need to ask this question. It might sound a little far-fetched, but I need to ask it to the attorney. Can we do that because next year is an election year coming up?
Can you extend past April?
Yeah, because next year is an election year for this whole board and the mayor.
I'll check to see what your restrictions
So
are.
can we bid over into the next year? That's what I.
Something that, a contract that extends past your term, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, as a general rule, they become voidable after your term, not void.
This April 30th would still
I'm
be
just-
within our
that's
term.
what I'm trying to find out. Is this gonna be
And we
legal
would be
for us to do
contracting
this?
with them
Voidable,
now.
it's not automatic. The city would have the right to terminate it later, but I'd have to look and see.
Look into that, please.
But as a general rule, no.
Yeah, because I'm just simply stating because I know from
Previous term.
previous that we are after our term for election coming up, we can't go, I think, 6 months or whatever
Yeah, there's
without that stuff. Okay.
All right. Alderwoman Smith.
I want to quickly request a comparison to some other Mississippi cities that have had paving with more than one company bidding. This, I mean, this price is, wow.
Yes. Just this morning, in my discussions with Mr. White, MDOT is seeing very much, I would just say that the rates are much higher in Southwest Mississippi than in other parts of the state due to the fact that we lack competition and we only have one provider for our area. Not saying anything against APAC, and we understand economics, but facts are facts. And it is creating a challenge for us. Also, people have asked, well, how did the county get theirs done and the city hasn't? Well, we have found it's a lot more technical to mill and feather at intersections and raise manholes on city streets. A lot more involved than just simply doing an overlay in the county. And so this is a big project. It's the biggest, I think, the biggest street overlay project in our recent memory, possibly ever. And so we're just trying our best to get it right. I'll call for the question. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed then to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dollar. Yes, Mr. Johnston.
Question, do we need to terminate the current letting? It's advertising right now.
Yes.
So we need to, I guess, get a motion to issue an addendum to terminate this letting.
Yeah, we had gone ahead with a publication, but then the engineer weighed in and we need to terminate that. Motion made by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Davis. I will now call for the question. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Can I ask one
Yes,
item for
Mr.
clarification, if you don't mind? Yeah, we're still going to look at receiving these bids two ways. One as a turnkey project, and also one to where the asphalt can be purchased by the city and work done by the contractor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And there may be a small plant in the metro area that inquired yesterday about the project, so there may be competition.
Great. And we also, just this morning, I think I sent you information on one in Tylertown.
Right, and I did respond. I mean, everything will be available at central bidding, yes.
And one on the coast that now we are communicating with. And we may have a local willing to bid. We'll see what we get. Thank you so much. I also need to bring this to your attention. We have been unsuccessful in getting a temporary extension on our solid waste disposal contract at River Bend, Greenway, I think it goes by a couple names. And that contract is going to expire this summer. Madam Clerk, when does it expire?
At the end of June.
At the end of June. So we're up against a window here where we really need to get this done. We are going to look at other options we have, understanding that our collection does not come up until next year. But we have a bid almost prepared, just going by the last time it was done. And it may need a little tweaking by the attorney, but really going by the way it was done last, and also allowing for a 1 year, a 5 year. We can actually ask for a 10-year and up to a 25 year. And I would say, let's look at all of those options to give us more options to consider. A 1 year, a 5 year, a 10 year, and a 25 year. Let's see what we get. I don't want to wait and all of a sudden we don't have time to bid this and it's up for renewal. And so all we need is a simple vote. The bid, as I said, the bid process will be following with the same documents that were used the last time, only for this portion, and it is a solid waste disposal contract. And we will make sure it has final approval by the attorney before it is advertised. But we do need that vote to bid at this time. Motion made by Alderwoman Smith.
Second.
And seconded by Alderwoman Irving. We'll have discussion. We'll call for the question. We will now ask if there's anyone opposed to the call. In that case, we will proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alderman Frazier. We've already reappointed Kenny Jackson. I had on my report, everyone's already said this under miscellaneous updates. It was a very tough week last week. with what occurred on North Union Street, and then that was on Tuesday night, and also what occurred on Friday night. We won't rehash those incidents. They've been in the news. Everyone's fully aware of that. But I do want to commend our police chief and commend the sheriff for the partnership that they are already exhibiting in working on these matters together. The sheriff and his department were there with our police on site Friday night, and we are so grateful for that assistance and that partnership. We are also grateful and to report that great progress has been made, but we are not going to state any details yet. But I will say that our police department has done already a yeoman's job, and great progress was seen within hours of the incident. But we are not revealing details because the investigation is ongoing. But just know we are not taking this lightly. We are treating this as seriously as we have treated anything during this administration. I also want to say my first reaction was grief, and any loss of life and any family affected by crime. We grieve for you, and our prayers are with you. I also want to say it is time, and we need to set as a goal that by the end of this year, we greatly increase the number of cameras. We greatly enhance lighting in our community. We continue to work on partnerships, not only between our city and the county, the sheriff's department, but all of the agencies that are there to help us, from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation all the way up to the Department of Justice. And I know that our chief is already opening communication and has already made use of communication lines already open under the previous chiefs, and that's chiefs with an S. I also want to echo what has been said, but I'll say it again. We work so hard to get Crime Stoppers up and going. Anyone who reports something confidentially, if it leads to an arrest and a conviction, then you will receive reward money. But it is disheartening to know that there are so many out there, including eyewitnesses Friday night, reluctant to speak. And we also know that there are those in our community who see this and they don't report it. And they have information and they don't report it. And as I said over the weekend, and I say it again, withholding that information, in my opinion, is akin to a crime in and of itself. And you may as well be an accessory to crime if you have information that could save lives in this community and you're withholding it. We need your information. And it is your duty as a citizen to help us to keep this community safe.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman.
I would like to reiterate that also, because I get calls often, and maybe some of the other aldermen too, alderwomen, from residents who will not call 911, but would rather I call 911, especially when they're hearing gunshots. So it's imperative that they call, because we're making that's time. That's taking time away from a potential crime scene. So they need to take responsibility and call 911.
And we need a record. And I'm also going to say this. We have to make sure that our judicial system is working, that our police and sheriff are communicating. And if there is anyone who is in the system and they are bonded out, we need to question the terms of that bond first and foremost, because some crimes, in my opinion, are too serious for anyone to be bonded out, especially when we're talking murder. But the second part of that discussion is, if someone is out on bond and they commit another crime and they are arrested, there should be no other bond. There should be no other opportunity to be released. And we have it on good authority that we have individuals in our community right now who have been in jail on one charge released on one bond, and while that case is still pending, rearrested on another crime and let out again. And I want to say now, as forcibly as I can say it, that that is unconscionable. And any judge and any court and anyone in our legal system who thinks that right, then if something should happen, you then have blood on your hands, because we can only arrest once it's out of our hands. We have nothing else to do. But for the safety of our children, for the safety of our families, and for the safety of our law enforcement officers, both police and sheriff, think twice when you bond a criminal out of jail and put them back on the street. Now,
Mr. Mayor,
I've got to leave town in a
and
few
for
minutes.
family,
Man, that's a-
and
that's
for
a very-
family members who are conspiring to hide a potential perpetrator.
I've
They're
got to
also
leave in a
guilty.
few minutes, and we've got an executive session. Everyone, remember, we have a carnival this weekend. Thank you to Ardenland. This carnival, I understand, is very reasonable, Friday, Saturday, and it's actually free Thursday and Sunday. We're so excited about that carnival. Also, just last night, talking to the Commissioner of Agriculture's office and Arden Barnett, we're still working on a July 4th event. More information pending. We now will ask for a closed determination to go into executive session. The closed determination will be to discuss whether or not to have a discussion, an executive session on employee personnel matters and on also potential litigation matters. I have a motion by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Is there any discussion? We'll call for the question.
Call.
Any opposed to the call? We'll ask for a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. We will now have our closed determination. Yes. Okay. We are back. We had our closed determination. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn our closed determination hearing and return. Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderman Davis. Any discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. It was determined that we do have a matter of personnel matter in the Public Works Department that we need to discuss. And we also have matters of potential litigation that we need to discuss. I will now entertain a motion to return to go into executive session for the reasons so described.
So move.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderman Frazier. Any opposed to the motion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. We will return now to our meeting room, and we'll have a report at the end of that discussion.
I'd like to entertain a motion to return from executive session to the regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. With no action taken in executive session, we discussed litigation and personnel. And I would like to make a motion, I'd like to entertain a motion that employee number 302908 receive a salary change from the current of $18.28 per hour to $20.50 an hour.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me, any discussion? I'm sorry. Any discussion?
Yes. I'm gonna let you go.
I would,
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you have this one.
I would
It's
just
your
say,
first time under that hitting that gavel, but I'm gonna let you have this one.
I have something.
But there needs to be some discussion.
I called for discussion.
I have something.
I will recognize Alderman Frazier.
On this increase, I'm all for people trying to make an honest living, but I would also, I like to be fair about it and everything. So I think that we should take this under consideration and revisit the budget until we get the money in order to pay for this increase in salary for this employee. But as it stands now, I don't think it's fair to the rest of the employee for an increase. That's all. That's Madam.
Thank you,
that's it.
Alderman Frazier. Is there any other discussion?
Yes, it is. Let me just go on. I just think, I do agree with Alderman Frazier. We just want to be fair across the board with raises, for our employees. I mean, I just think it needs to be fair across the board because, in the very end, what matters is that, we try to retain the employees that are there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Alderman Felicia Irving. I also want to just mention with this that there have been precedents where we have raised a salary if we knew additional duties were going to have to be done, additional work. And that's it. I would like to entertain the call for the question.
All.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
And all opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
All right, Madam City Clerk, may we have a roll call? Okay.
Alderwoman Hall,
Aye.
Alderman Frazier.
Nay.
Alderman Irving, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nay.
Alderwoman Irving,
Nay.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Thank you. In this case, this is a tie. We have 2 votes for, 2 votes not for, and the mayor pro tem will break the tie in this instance with the mayor out. I vote aye. The motion passes. All right. We are going to move on to the city clerk's report.
I only have a few things. First request that I have is approval of the 1st May 2023 claims docket.
I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the claims docket.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Alderman Irving.
Okay, thank you. I want to look at, on page 38 in the claims docket, I'm just wanting to ask, what is the fee? Has the fee increased for Mr. Samuel Thomas?
It did.
It did?
Yes.
Okay, so
There was
would
a
this
slight-
be the fee that's there now? The
Yes,
standard?
that's the current fee.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you addressed the other one page 1. When I looked at the budget status, I saw the Miss New Body. Is that from the police in that department? That's from their expense?
I believe this was a police vehicle. This was, I don't want to say which
Okay.
vehicle, but
Okay.
it was a police
It was
vehicle.
police, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you.
I just don't want to say the wrong vehicle.
Okay, and you took care of the other address.
Thank
Okay.
you. Any other discussion? Call for the question.
Call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Next request is approval of the 1st May 2023 mini claims docket.
Entertain a motion for the
So
approval.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, what was the courthouse meal? The courthouse, it was a Cedric Davis. What was that?
He the court security.
Okay, so was that for training?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was a training
Okay,
session.
that was my question.
Any other discussion? Call for the question.
Call.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
My next request is for approval of the April 2023 hire fire report.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me, any discussion? No discussion? Call for the question.
Call.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Final request is a request for the board to appoint Ms. Frances Bailey
So
as
moved.
a city
Second.
election commissioner to fill the vacancy that was left by Ms. Brenda Holmes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Call for the question.
Call.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And I think that is,
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
yes.
Chief Cal Green was not available at the time that Mr. Johnson gave his report for the number of bulletproof vests that she's requesting. So she-
Great. Thank you, Alderman.
We're requesting 20 at this time. We purchased some over the last year or two, but what we have to understand is that those vests are custom made for each individual. So as people have left, unless we get somebody in with a very similar build, they're unable to utilize that vest again. So we basically have to start over.
That answers the question.
Okay.
All right, y'all, I didn't use the, on the call, calling for the question, I didn't ask if the call was any opposed to it, just because these are not controversial discussions, and I know everyone's ready to adjourn. So I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
I want to say great job, Mayor Pro Tem, Alderwoman Sarah Carter Smith.